As you can remember that we discussed the first Satipatthana exercise Monday, right? And then there was a question, actually, it was kind of late to post, but I think you kind of understood what we discussed on Monday about the first Satipatthana exercise. Can we take a look at some of the very important aspects of the first Satipatthana exercise just to have a kind of a revisit? We discussed that breath meditation is the most important Satipatthana practice that we can learn in the Satipatthana exercises, right? And then the question which was posted today also asks you what could be the most important aspect of this breath meditation. It is to see the impermanent nature of our breath, arising, staying, and passing away or going away of the breaths. And at the same time, that ability to watch natural breaths going through, rising, staying, going away, can help us understand the underlying emotions of our kusala akusala experiences. That means if we can watch natural breaths as they are or as they come to be, then that will help us to manage our kusala akusala experiences. Once again, if I am going to explain to you a little bit, let us say when I am sad about something in my life today, or maybe last couple of weeks, or in my life, and that sadness shows us through certain breathing structures. Say, for instance, you might be someone who has been grieving about somebody that passed away in your life, right? Maybe you might be someone who might be worried about your loved ones would die one day in the future. And at that point, how would I go through that day? Right? Even at that time, even a future suffering, not suffering has not come to you. Dukkha has not come to you. Dukkha is going to come one day. This can happen to all of us. Even that uncertainty can give you a grief, sadness. So every time when you imagine or when you remember that kind of a grief or a sadness, even a frustration, even anger, jealousy, or whatever bad emotions or akusalas, your breaths show you certain indications about it. So that means the affective or external nature of those emotions are reflective with your breaths. So someone who has been able to watch the changes, subtle or solid changes of the breath, one's breath, can easily understand those emotions, or maybe akusalas, even kusalas, head on, right? Because many people will understand such emotions when that person, after that person reacted to the emotion through sadness, through anger, through grief, through frustration. But as someone who understood now about the importance of watching the breath, not just as a meditation in a certain time, allotted time, but also as a good indicator about our emotional turbulence, kusala turbulence, or roller coaster, can really manage kusala and akusala experiences way before they become process. That I think that's the most important part of breath experience, especially when it comes to understanding what kind of breaths or how are my breaths happening at this point or will be happening. Oftentimes, these experiences with regard to breath could give you heavy breaths, stuttering, loss of voice, right? There are so many things that can happen with regard to our breath. So every time when our breaths take a different move, we need to look at it. We need to see why is it happening. Maybe my emotions are happening in different ways. I'm not healthy at that point anymore, both from the body and the mind and emotions, right? So that's why it's very important uh, going beyond the meditation part, being able to watch the breath as an indicator about our emotional health, which underlies kusala kusala experiences, could be the best thing that we can learn through the first Satipatthana. Okay, that is what we discussed Monday initially, and then what else did we discuss about it? We kind of debunk a lot of myths about breath meditation, which many might have heard from many places here and there, right? One very important thing that we debunked was here in the breath meditation, we are not trying to breathe in and breathe out because breathing in, breathe out uh, activities are happening naturally, right? Why are we? I mean, let's say there are moments in the breath meditation where we are asking people now, before we get to the actual breath meditation, can we take a deep breath in? Can we breathe that out just to keep yourself, what you call, comfortable, right? To relax. For the relaxation, we can do. We can have an exaggerated forceful breath. But other than that, relaxation part, we are not supposed to uh, what do you call forcibly trying to make a breath and then watching its arising, staying and going away. Because the purpose of the breath meditation in the long run is to watch the breath process. Not that you make it and then you try to breathe in and breathe out and watch it. Right? So this is one very big myth that we clarified, that we explained. Another thing that we discussed with regard to the first Satipatthana breath meditation was that we said that in order to completely practice the breath meditation, we have to look at two aspects, two things about the breath. I could say two stages. One is in your own understanding, you could say samatha part, relax, what you call calmness part. And then vipassana part, or I would say, Buddha never calls them as samadhi, but we could think about it, calmness part and insight part. You will start watching your breath as a calmness part process. And then whenever you are progressing in that calmness, you are supposed to move that calmness into the inside part. How to bring that calmness into the inside part? Or do you only want to be calm and that's it? That is Hindu meditation. Huh? That's not Buddhist breath meditation. In Hindu dhyana, dhyana, absorption, what they do is that they only work on the calmness part, right? But according to the early Buddhist teachings, the Satipatthana Sutta's explanations, the Buddha clearly says once you make sure that you are calm enough, then you need to move that calmness into the inside part. But how to practice the inside part? Let's say now you are calm enough. How to be calm? You are going to first get into the breath meditation practice. And Buddha talked to us about posture and what else and where to focus on that. At the same time, then looking at different types of breaths as they appear, as they arise, stay, go away. And at the same time, what you call uh, being able to experience the breath across the body, and then being able to calm down the breath process as a successful consequence of this whole practice. We call it, earlier one we call it Sabbakaya Patisambhedi, right? That means as the meditator, yogi, yogini is going to progress in the watching of different breaths, the yogi, yogini is going to come to a certain point where the yogi, yogini can see any kind of air element. I would say Vayu Dhatu across the body. And then finally, the meditator can calm them down as a result of, as a successful consequence of that earlier watching breath. But then once the meditator, yogi, yogini comes to that calmness, then the meditator can keep continuing with that calmness. Because if the meditator wants to stop at that place, what will happen to the meditator is the meditator will only like the calmness, like the bliss. And next time when the meditator wants to practice meditation, the meditator only wants to look for the calmness. I only want to be calmed down with my meditation, nothing else. I think some of our meditators may have this idea too. When I want to practice breath meditation, I only need a calmness. No, calmness alone cannot get to the next level of the breath meditation or any other meditation. Calmness is a stage. And then after the calmness, one has to move that or bring that calmness into the inside part. So may I know how to do the inside part with regard to breath meditation? Suppose you are calm at this point. So how to get to the inside part? The Buddha asks us to do a couple of maneuvers. Couple maneuvers with regard to inside. You can't just stay alone. Number one is that you need to practice breath meditation internally, externally, internally and externally. What is it? Has anyone done that kind of breath meditation so far? Have you ever done that kind of a breath meditation? Not that kind. That is the way how the Satipatthana Sutta teaches us. So whenever you are calm in the breath meditation, then you are going to bring that calmness into inside. First thing is that you are looking at this breath meditation through your body. Yes, I can watch my breaths. I can see the air element across the body. And I can also see that I have been calming down my in-breath, out-breath, asasa-pasasa. That is internally. Externally means I also have to understand that this breathing process is not only experienced by me, because every sentient being is going through it, willingly or unwillingly, with knowledge or without knowledge. So I need to universalize this experience by thinking that every being has the ability to go through this experience. Now, I think this is a very simple idea. Like when you are very successful in your life, what if you are to think everybody can become successful in their life? Not only me. I might have hard work in my life, but you may have smart work, or you will be able to smart work in your life. Don't chase the money. Do well in whatever you are doing, and you are universalizing that capability. among others. Not only me. Not I'm a very superhuman, and that's why I could become so. So I think thinking that success or anything can be practiced by anybody, can be achieved by anybody. In the same way, we look at this breath meditation's external part. That means every sentient being is going through this breathing experience, but not many who understand Satipatthana Sutta's this version can get to the practice. And then internally and externally. And you are thinking that I can watch. At the same time, other people also can watch other sentient beings. This is the first thing you have to do with regard to insight. Second thing, I hope that you must be able to read the notes. Samudaya Vayadhamma, Samudaya Passi Vayadhamma, right? That means you also have to look at why is this breath? How does it arise? It is because there is a sentient being. I'm a sentient being who carries 5 aggregates body, right? This is the reason why I can go through the breathing experience. So that means you are going to the Panchakanda experience. You are going to reflect upon that very core of your life. That is Samudaya. And Vayadhamma? Vayadhamma means if I were not reborn as a sentient being, human being, right, like now, then I would have not had this Panchakanda body. Right? So there is no breath, there is nothing about it. So then the breath arose as a result of me carrying my Panchakanda body. And breath could have not arisen if I were not to have a body. See, these are higher developments of the breath meditation. And not even that, the Buddha even said, you are going to carry a certain mindfulness, repeated mindfulness, to the extent that you understand this whole thing. And at that point, you are not going to associate Panchakanda that much, and you are not going to be overcome by the Panchakanda experiences. You are able to manage your Panchakanda, Rupa Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, form, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, karma, and consciousness. So I think what a beautiful way to bring calmness into insight. This is the way how we discuss about the breath meditation, the first Satipatthana practice. All right, so today we are going to move on to the second Satipatthana practice. What is it called? Iriyapatha. Iriyapatha means, what is Iriyapatha? Postures, right? Let us take a look at that part. Iriyapathapabba, postures. Exercise 2 in Satipatthana practice. Day 100 and 101, I think I mentioned 102. Yes, that's it. Right? And Iriyapatha, in Pali we understand what you call Iriyapatha to be postures. So there are 4 postures Satipatthana Sutta recognizes. Sitting, standing, walking, and then lying down. See? Okay, can we read this Pali section with everybody? Kayanupassana Iriyapatha Pabba. Punacha parang bhikkhave bhikkhu gacchanto va gacchami pajanati. Tito va titom hiti pajanati. Nisinno va nisinnom pajanati. Sayano va sayanom hiti pajanati. Yata yata va panassa khayo panihito hoti tata tatanang pajana. The same phrasing appears again, the same thing, inside part. From here, it is the inside part. This part is calmness part. Iti ajjatangva kaye kayanupassī viharati. Bahiddhava kaye kayanupassī viharati. Ajjatta bahiddhava kaye kayanupassī viharati. Samudaya dhammanupassīva kayasmin viharati. Vaya dhammanupassīva kayasmin viharati. Samudaya vaya dhammanupassīva kayasmin viharati. Atti kayotiva panassa sati pacchupattita hoti. Yavadeva jnanamattaya patissati mattaya. Anissitoja viharati. Nacha kinchi loke upati. Evam piko bhikkhave bhikkhu kaye kayanupassī viharati. Okay, let's go back. Again, bhikkhave bhikkhu gacchanto va gacchami iti pajanati. Simply speaking, now we are looking at it from a layperson, anybody's background. So when you walk, you understand that you are walking. But pajanati has a little bit bigger explanation. What you call pajanati does not only mean that there is a simple understanding. There is something a little bit higher than simple understanding, right? We could say a full, complete understanding about that walking. And tito va tito niti pajanati. Tito means standing. When standing, you understand that you are standing. Nisinno va nisinno niti pajanati. Nisinno means sitting. When sitting, you understand you are sitting. Sayano va sayano niti pajanati. When lying down, you understand that you are lying down. This section introduces mindful awareness of bodily postures, Iriyapathapabba. Each posture, walking, standing, sitting, lying down, is known clearly as it is. The emphasis is not on the act itself, but on knowing the act with full process. This transforms everyday bodily movement into meditation, resolving the distinction between formal and informal practice. Okay. Gacchanto va gacchami iti pajanati. Does it say that we don't understand that we are walking? I mean, don't we have any understanding while we are walking? I think we do have a certain understanding that we are walking. So what is the difference between that kind of a normal understanding about the walking versus this kind of a full presence with regard to walking? What is happening to us is that we know slightly that we walk, but we walk by carrying a lot of other perceptions, right? Let's say that you walk from living room or maybe living area to the kitchen. What do you think? Are you only looking at your walking process, or are you also thinking about what I'm going to do next after walking into the kitchen, right? I think what is happening is that because of our multitasking nature in today's world, we might perhaps lose that bigger idea about the first activity. So that is why there are moments where people carry some akusalas even kusalas, while they are into that walking activity. Now think about any moment that you walk with certain akusala emotions, jealousy or maybe anger, right? What if you had time to watch your walking by that time, during that time? Would you carry that anger or frustration or akusala at that point, right? I think we have so many opportunities in this case to bring into our walking at that point. So that means we have missed so many opportunities even in walking activity, right? So we have walked with so many other thoughts. We might have not been able to watch the mere walking part, right? So that's why Satipatthana Sutta says that it's very important to be fully present about the walking while you are walking. Right? You know, when you practice walking meditation, you might have felt that. Even some people might do a walking meditation by counting steps and all that. Then what is happening in that person could be in that numbering is what do you say, calculation. Meditation happens from calculation. What if that you could see how you walk and where you walk without getting caught up in any other people's form or maybe sounds or smell? I think that could be a very Satipatthana friendly or Iriyapathapabba friendly way of practicing walking. Right? So this is why the Buddha says here, when walking, try to watch your walking fully, and that will help you to be mindful. That will help you to keep the right mindfulness. And second, titova pitom hiti pajanat, standing. Now suppose you stand around 9:30, in like 1 more hour from here, right? So do you know that you are standing, or you are thinking that I need to go somewhere at that point? Right? What is the initial thought that pops up in your mind? I stand. Maybe I need to go somewhere. So what if someone is going to stand up by thinking I'm going to stand up now? And being able to understand that change, because to stand up, one has to, or to stand, one has to be seated before, right? So being able to see those subtle moments, right? When standing, if you can know that before standing or while you are standing, then I'm standing now. I'm fully present in this standing moment. That helps you to be mindful. And then nisinnom hiti pajanat. When sitting, you know you are sitting. Are you conscious that you are seated now? Then, if you are very conscious, if you are fully aware about it, then you are practicing this meditation now. Iriyapathas third sector. Right? So people sit down to practice breath meditation, but people might sit down to practice any other good things, even to do more kusala activities. But in addition to that particular kusala activity, one can also use that awareness about being seated as a Satipatthana Iriyapathapabba meditation, right? And then finally, lying down part. Saya nova, saya nom hiti pajanati. When lying down, you know that I am lying down. Is it easy to understand that someone can feel the posture while lying down, or the person is driven by some other disturbances? Okay. What will happen to someone when that person lies down? The person might feel a little bit of comfort, and that comfort sometimes can give that person an idea that what or how can I become more comfortable by lying down, so that awareness about lying down can not stay that long, right? It can happen to anybody of us. So that's why it's very important to be able to be fully present, at least for a moment of time, to get to this Iriyapathapabba way of Satipatthana. Now I have a question. Is there anything other than being fully present about these four postures you can do to manage your four postures according to the Buddhist teachings, according to any other suttas? I'm trying to make you curious about something that you know already. Is there any piece of advice given by the Buddha in any other sutta which you know, where Buddha asks you to practice a certain important teaching with regard to postures? If there's anything like that, you can think about it. In the Karaniya Metta Sutta, which you may be chanting every day, perhaps, Buddha clearly mentioned about postures. Can you remember the verse for that, stanza for that? Tittang charan nisin nova, saya nova, yavatas vigatamento. Etang sating aditteya, brahma metang viharam vidamaho. Why should I think about the chanting? I want to practice sitting meditation now, that's why. Be conscious about it. Anyways, in this Karaniya Metta Sutta, Buddha is teaching us that there is a meditation that we can do with regard to postures. And that meditation can help us to cultivate one of the most important attitudes in our life. How did the Buddha say? Tittang, titta means standing. Is it? Standing, titta. Charang, walking. Nisinova, sitting, right? Sitting. Sayanova, lying down. Right? Then yavatassa vigata middu. That means yavatassa vigata middu. As long as you are awake. Can you practice this metta meditation while you are in sleep? You can't do that, right? You can only do it as long as you are awake. Then the Buddha says, when it comes to the postures, in addition to being able to be fully present about the postures, you can also bring metta into postures. That means you stand with metta, like by 9:30 when you stand with metta, right? Right? Can you stand with metta? Yes, you can stand with metta. That means you have no anger towards anybody. You have lots of metta towards you and other people, all living beings. And then charan, the moment you start walking, you walk with metta. Nisinnova, now you are seated. Are you sitting with metta? Yes, you are supposed to be sitting with metta. You're supposed to be. I don't know, maybe you're supposed to be. You are maybe. Should be. Right. You should be. You're supposed to be sitting with metta. That means any moment when you are seated, you should not let any non-metta things to come up. It's very easy for us to come up with non-metta, that means hatred-based stuff in today's world, right? Why it is very possible, why it is very easy for us to come up with non-metta things while we are seated? Because for the most part, in many people's life in today, they are spending more time with gadgets, handphones, internet, news, videos, right? So while they are watching those things, they have mixed emotions about these things that they are watching. So then it might be a challenge for some people to keep the metta while they are seated. Maybe they are sitting and watching all these things. There's no harm to watch these things, but the thing is that how to manage metta while watching them, while listening to them, right? And then what about lying down part? As I said earlier, when someone is to lie down, there's a possibility the person might be into a certain higher comfort zone. So at that point, one has to manage what you call metta, right? So that's why the Buddha said finally, etang satin aditteya brahmametang viharang idamaho. If someone can practice the mindfulness of metta with regard to the postures, I would call it the highest way of living that moment in that person's life. I could say, if you ask how to live the life to the fullest of the Dhamma, then being able to live the life, live every moment with metta, because we are switching our postures all the time, right? With metta could be the best. So metta is not a mantra that you say, may I be well, happy, peaceful, may no harm come to me and all that. Metta is something that we have to bring in with regard to our postures. So today we are talking postures. Every time when you walk, when you sit, when you stand, when you lie down, let the metta come to us and to understand our postures, right? So this is what I want to highlight with regard to the Metta Sutta. Actually, then posture meditation is related to the metta. I mean, you can do in two ways. One way is that you can only be fully present about the posture, as the Satipatthana Sutta says. That is one way to do. I think for some people, this can be a little boring, right? Because you are only watching your own posture. You can do it, but it can be kind of giving someone a little different experience. That's why in the Metta Sutta, we can find another way to do it. That means, why don't we bring in metta towards those postures? So I think we can make it a little bit more interested about whether there's something I can do other than I watch my own postures. Right? I'm thinking, why I'm seated now? Yes, I can see. I'm talking Dhamma to you. Then that gives me a little bit of different, interested experience, holistic experience. I can also think about, I'm seated now. I can see I'm seated now. That is also okay. But what if I'm thinking, why did I sit down here? There's a bigger purpose in that sitting. And why you are seated over there. You can also watch your sitting experience, but no, we want to learn Dhamma. Right? So I think there are two ways to do it. You will practice any of those two ways. I think using postures with regard to metta could be a little bit engaging experience that will help you to stay focused, stay mindful rightly. All right, so we are going to move on to the next part of this posture meditation. Not even posture has to be fully understood, but there are some other things that we have to look at. What are they? This part. Yata yata va panas kayo panihito. However, my body is disposed of. How I maintain my body now, or how did I do in the past, so how will I do in the future. Tata tatanam pajanati. Here, mindfulness extends to all bodily configuration. I would call them as kaya vinyati. Can see here, kaya vinyati. We will discuss that later. So, yata yata va panassa kayo panihito hoti, tata tatanam pajanati. Here, mindfulness extends to, this should be right mindfulness, extends to all bodily configurations, kaya vinyati, not limited to the four major postures given above, whether bending, stretching, turning, the yogi yogini maintains lucid knowing of the body's placement. This points to continuous awareness, satisampajanya, mindfulness, sustaining all activities throughout the day. Are there only postures happening in our activities? No, there are so many other things happening, right? Right? I mean, let's say you are seated now. It's only this seated experience happening. No, I think there are some other. You are just watching. You can look ahead. You can look down, right? You can maybe move to one side while you are seated. Maybe you can move to the other side. You can turn around, right? So many other tiny little activities are happening. Those micro activities, I would say, right? The macro activity is the posture, but there are so many micro activities happening while you are seated, even while you are standing, while you are walking, while you are lying down. So are we not supposed to watch them too? No, we are supposed to watch them too. That's why the Buddha says in here, as you can see here once again, yata yata va panassa kayo panihito. Panihito means you dispose, you keep the body in a certain way with regard to the posture. And according to how you dispose, how you keep the body now, you are going to be mindful about tiny little micro movements of that body. Now think about, you are seated now. When people are seated, there are different things that we can see, right? What are the things you can see? Some people are very slouch, right? They are hunchback perhaps, but they are seated. But they are hunchback. But some people can keep their body upright. Some people may sit to one side, little bit to one side. Another person to the other side. Another person might keep the legs crossed or something else. So then the Buddha says, in order for you to practice Iriyapatha as a Satipatthana, not only you are watching, being fully present about those four postures, but also you have to know how your body is disposed at different times during or within that posture. Okay? So we need to look at those micro movements of that particular posture. That's why the Buddha says here, as you can see here, yata yata va panassa kayo panihito tata tatana pajanat. Right? Is that a very good thing to know? Let's say you are not sitting properly on your chair. But if you know that I'm not sitting properly, is that a good thing to know? I think that's a very good thing in today's world. We don't know how we sit down. We just sit down, just being comfortable. So I think this Iriyapatha tells us, hey, fix your wrong, maybe wrong way of sitting. You have to organize yourself, organize your posture. To organize our posture, Iriyapathapabba gives us an indication. Not even you are watching your posture, what you call posture, but also be conscious about those micro movements in that posture. Are you sitting properly? Are you having the proper distance towards certain objects while you are seated? Right? Are you very curious about what's happening? Are you just looking around, looking ahead? right? So I think all these are important in the Iriyapathapabba Satipatthana. That means the Buddha asks you to watch your whatever the uh, way that you are seated, whatever the way you are, uh, disposing your body. Those tiny micro movements. And then you should be able to be calm at this point. This is the calmness part. You can see being able to understand the posture and then being able to understand those micro movements of your posture. And then we are moving on to the inside part. Iti ajjattang va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Bahitta va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Ajjatta bahitta va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Then you dwell contemplating the body internally and externally, universalizing the posture experience. This means at this point, what you are going to do is that you are thinking that just like how I can watch my own postures at different times, other people also can watch their own posture experiences. It is not only something I can watch. Not even that, they can also see those micro movements within the posture. So you are going to internalize your experience, and also you are going to look at it. You are going to externalize about this posture experience with regard to other people, anybody, any other sentient being. And then samudaya dhammanupassiva kayasmin viharati, vaya dhammanupassiva kayasmin viharati, samudaya vaya dhammanupassiva kayasmin viharati. That's a very important point. May I know how can we walk? How can we sit down? How can we stand? How can we lie down? How? What propels? What supports us to do these postures? According to Dhamma, okay? Not from the physical science experience. The Dhamma teaches us in some other places, especially Abhidhamma, teaches us that Kaya Vinyati helps us to move our body, especially to walk, to sit, to stand, to lie down. What is Kaya Vinyati? That is something we are going to learn at this point. Let's take a look. It is further down and we will come back here. Okay, it's here. Understanding Vinyati, expression or manifestation. The Pali term Vinyati comes from the root nya, to know, with the prefix V to distinguish, express, or make known. Literally, it means that by which something is made known. In Buddhist Abhidhamma and commentary literature, Vinyati refers to the way intention makes bodily or verbal action manifest or communicable to others. There are two types of Vinyati. Kaya Vinyati. This is what is important to us today. This is the movement of the body that reveals intention, such as walking, standing, or making gestures. It depends on the wind element, which enables motion. When the mind forms an intention, the Vayu Dhatu moves accordingly, resulting in a visible bodily act. For example, when you think I should sit or I shall sit, Kaya Vinyati directs the Vayu Dhatu to bend the body into the sitting posture. This is something very interesting. That means, how does posture experience take place? That means, what do you call, the mind, with the support of Vayu Dhatu, materializes the bodily activities, right? That means if you take a look at of any other experience, as we discuss over here, Vayu Dhatu not only helps us to practice the breath meditation, Vayo Dhatu is being used by Kaya Vinyati for us to make the movements, right? So this is why we need to understand that our movements happen from Kaya Vinyati, bodily expressions. We use it in the Dhamma that way. And what about the speech? Speech also happens from something. We will learn some other time, but I can give you an idea. How do I talk to someone? How does speech arise? Vachi Vinyati, verbal expression or manifestation. This refers to speech or sound produced by the Patavi Dhatu, earth element. For the bodily movements, Vayu Dhatu. For the speech, Patavi Dhatu, earth element, as influenced by intention and the activity of the vocal organs. When one intends to speak, the bodily processes generate vibration and making communication audible to others. So that means, according to the Buddhist thoughts, the origin of the postures come from Kaya Vinyati. So Samudaya, that means now when it comes to the insight experience here, the second insight experience, we are supposed to look at the origin of our postures. What is the origin of our postures? How do we call it? Kaya Vinyati. Because of Kaya Vinyati, I can walk. Right? Anybody can walk. So that is the Samudaya part. How can there be a situation that there's no walking, there's no sitting, no lying down, no standing? That means there is no being that has been reborn at that point, who has what you call Vayu Dhatu, right, with the intention. So we have to understand that because of the Kaya Vinyati, we are able to move, we are able to do those postures. So that is the second part of the insight with regard to the postures. The third one, Attikayotiva Panassa Satipatthana. Mindfulness that there is a body is established. Yavadeva Jnana Mattaya Patissati Mattaya, to the extent necessary for knowledge and mindfulness. Now, how far do we need the right mindfulness here? Right mindfulness is necessary to the extent that we can understand Kaya Vinyati and also being able to understand the four postures and also being able to understand micro movements with regard to postures. That's it. We don't need right mindfulness more than that. Right mindfulness is necessary to the extent that we understand these things. Right? And then Anisitota Viharati. That means when I understand these postures, when you understand these four postures and those micro movements and how they work, then you will not cling to your panchakanda, because you understand that these postures are happening not because I exist, but because of the activities of the panchakanda. So then I don't have to cling to panchakanda and make a different kind of ego with regard to panchakanda. So you are bringing that experience with regard to that. What if someone is doing a cat walking in a beauty pageant? Walking in a nice way, right? If somebody is walking, somebody is running for a marathon, right? How do those people understand they are walking? Think about a beauty pageant. Someone is walking very nicely to get the attention, maybe to win the competition, right? That's a different experience. So there are so many ways people do that, right? Walking has become a certain activity. We have no problem with regard to that. But the thing is that each time when we get to the postures, Buddha is asking us to be fully present about that posture, because that ability to be fully present can help us manage our kusala kusala experiences, just like how we did it with the breath meditation. Not even that, but also those tiny little micro movements, right? On one side, we can fix our wrong habits. On the other side, we can uh, be very rightly mindfulness about those micro movements too, as a part of the Iriyapath posture meditation. And finally, nacha kinchi loke upatiyate, not grasping at anything in the world. Well, as long as we die, we have to maintain our panchakanda, right? Do we have to maintain the panchakanda as long as we die? Yes, we have to. We have to take care of our body. We have to take care of our feelings. We have to take care of our perceptions. We have to be very careful about karma. We have to take care of our consciousness, right? So, maintaining or taking care of or be carrying the panchakanda versus clinging to the panchakanda could be two things. So, when someone is able to be fully present about each of these postures with their micro little movements, that person will not cling to the panchakanda, but use the panchakanda to get to the higher level of his or her spiritual life. Right? That's what it says at the end. So if I can recap up to now before we get to the notes, tiny little notes over there, I would say that this Iriyapatha Satipatthana can be practiced by anybody, anytime. In order for you to practice breath meditation, you might have to be conscious about the breath. Yes, you are supposed to. But with regard to the Iriyapatha, you have so many opportunities to materialize your postures as a meditation, because we are always switching our postures, right? Shifting our postures. Sometimes there are people when they are into a certain posture, when they are not happy about that posture, they want to change to another posture, right? Think about, what if you are to be seated for 2-3 hours here? Let's say you are going to be seated for 2-3 hours, maybe on a retreat, 3 hours meditation. I don't know, how it works. And then you are being seated for the 3 hours, and you are thinking, this is the meditation. And then you are thinking, now I need to stand and do a walking meditation. Yes, you are supposed to. That is why Iriyapatha meditation says you don't have to sit that long. You need to change your posture. That is meditation. Some people I think when people sometimes talk to us, they are saying, I want to meditate longer, but I cannot meditate longer. I said, what is the purpose of sitting longer for the meditation? Because Buddha talks about Iriyapath. That means meditation not only happen while sitting, you have to stand. When you stand, you have another meditation. That is Iriyapath. And when you walk, there's another meditation. That is walking meditation. When you lie down, even when you go back home, there is another meditation. So many meditations are there for us. Don't try to narrow it down to sitting. Then you are worried about, Bhante, I meditate, but I cannot sit longer to meditate. What's the problem? Because you don't know Satipatthana. If you know Satipatthana, you will never ask this question. Why? Every posture is a meditation. Don't worry about sitting long. You cannot sit longer, you stand up. What else can we do? Right? So that's how we have to look at this Iriyapatha Satipatthana. Don't think this is a separate meditation. This is a part of all these Satipatthanas, right? So now, so far, if you have only done breath meditation, it is high time now to move on to the posture meditation. After today, when you walk, even after this sutta discussion, when you walk, when you stand with metta, right? No anger, no frustration, no sadness, no problem, right? You stand with metta. I have so much metta for everybody, including me. And you start walking now to the door. I walk with metta and I have no problem with anybody, right? And get into my car, sitting again, doing the sitting in the car for some time until you get back home. And then you go and then you get ready for sleep. And then again, another meditation comes into you. Lying down meditation. This is what we are learning today, right? So during those four postures, there are so many micro activities happening. The way how we sit down, the way how we walk, the way how we stand, all these can be watched if you can. I think that there are two very important benefits here. I mean, at face value now. One thing is that if I can watch or if you can watch your postures, you can fix your postures. That's number one. I think that is very important. That is a part of the fitness part, especially in today's world, because people are so much using gadgets. They are always hunchback, watching their gadgets, right? And they are sitting for long hours in front of laptops, computers, right? I think one very important benefit from the posture meditation here is that it's very relevant to today's world, today's modern way of spending life. That is for everybody. Second part is that now you want to get to kusala experience. This is another very important part. In that, you are going to use your postures to watch your kusala moments in your life. Okay. So that is the most important aspects of today's Iriyapathapabba Satipatthana. But now we will look at some other points that were given here. Okay, let's see. How do, notes for Iriyapathapabba, how do our postures arise? I think we discussed that again before. The thoughts of sitting, standing, walking, lying down are generated through the Vayu Dhatu, element of wind element. It is kaya vinyati when it is made. The bodily expression or intention that directs the Vayu Dhatu towards a specific activity, depending on this mental impulse. The movement of the wind element, Vayu Dhatu, manifests as sitting, standing, walking, lying down. So then, another thing to learn here is that all your postures are reflective about an element. What is that element? Vayu Dhatu. When you are sitting down, how come I can sit down? Because now I am reflective about my Vayu Dhatu. How come I can stand right away once this is finished? Because of Vayu Dhatu, and I am reflective about my Vayu Dhatu. How come I can walk from this place, Bhavana Sala, outside the door? Because of Vayu Dhatu helps me to walk, and I'm reflective about Vayu Dhatu. How come I can lie down when I go home before sleep? It's because Vayu Dhatu helps me to lie down, and I'm reflective of Vayu Dhatu. How many of you have thought that how come I can make myself possible into a posture in the Dhamma? Nobody has thought. It's me, it's myself. It's my way to sleep, it's my way to lie down, it's my way to walk. Don't pinpoint at me. No, you are walking because of Vayu Dhatu. You are sitting because of Vayu Dhatu. You are standing because of Vayu Dhatu. And all your manifestations are reflective about Vayu Dhatu. What about the speech? How can I talk? Is it through the Vayu Dhatu or some other Dhatu element? I can speak not because of the wind element, Vayu Dhatu. I can speak because or you can speak because of Patavi Dhatu, earth element. The next time you are thinking, how come I can talk like this? Right? Maybe you can think about a bad experience. Today morning I was not talking about something. I was bad mouthing. If you have done that, not a good idea, right? How come I could bad mouth about somebody? Because of Patavi Dhatu, earth element. and you are thinking about a moment of time 2 weeks ago. I think I was a part of a gossiping experience. And why those people gossip and why I had to intervene the gossiping because of Patavidat. Then there's no I, me, myself. All these are activities of elements, dhatus, right? Then it will help you to go back to the very core of our elements, Pataviya, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, right? Earth, water, fire, and these wind thing. We go back to that thing. Actually, this is what is happening to us when we die one day. Yeah? Patavi parts go to Patavi, Apo parts go to Apo, Earth part goes to Earth part, water parts go to water part. Then wind and fire, they go back to their own nature. So that is something that should be learned here today. That means your speech. Today we discuss about your movements. Your movements are done not by you; they are done by wind element with the support. They are done by kaya vinyati with the support of wind element. I think that very understanding helps you to be very mindful about your postures. It's not me. It's because of my kaya vinyati supported by wind element. I'm doing all this. All right, that's what we discussed, and then we are moving on to the next. Okay, these are some of the highlights. I think we discussed them. The art of knowing transitions where awareness awakes. Right mindfulness is not limited to sitting quietly. It blooms in the shift from one posture to another. The Buddha's instruction when walking, no, I am walking, when sitting, now I am sitting, invites awareness of movement between movements. Awareness of movement between movements. Notice how the mind often races ahead, the body rises, but attention lags behind. Practicing posture meditation means catching these micro moments, like I mentioned this word again and again, being able to, I mean, the importance of practicing posture meditation also has the benefit of catching the micro moments, the intent to stand, the muscles engaging, the balance shifting. This cultivates a rare kind of, I could say, wisdom, transitional awareness. You begin to see that life itself is transition. Standing becomes sitting, youth becomes old age, breath becomes stillness. The practitioner awakens to the flowing continuity of body and consciousness. Transitional awareness. Normally, people are very much concerned about to be aware about breath, aware about usala. But what if someone is going to be aware about transitional movements? I stretch my hand like that. I flex my hand. I look ahead. I look down and look away. Have you ever thought when you lift your hand, stretch your hand, how did I lift my hand now? Have you ever thought like that? No, that's not relevant to think about, right? How have I been able to lift my hand like this? It is because of Kaya Vinyati with the Vayodhatu, I could do it. And now how could I flex my hand? It is also because of Kaya Vinyati with the support of Vayodhatu. Then between stretching and flexing, what is happening in that micro movement, right? So that is also part of the posture meditation here, Iriyapathapabba meditation. We call it a transitional awareness with regard to these postures. And then the body as a mirror of the mind. I think this is something we discussed already in other places too. Walking as a way of insight, not exercise, but existence. We understand that, of course, Chankamana, right? Have you ever learned about the sutta in Anguttara Nikaya, if I'm not mistaken, where Buddha talks about 5 benefits of practicing walking meditation? The Buddha says walking helps you to live longer. Walking helps you to what do you call uh, walking helps you to concentrate your mind. I think it's a very interesting thing, right? Let's say um, I actually bring up this example all the time. There is someone who is running into a problem, argument in a house, right? And maybe there are two people who are running into arguments in the house. I mean, one person thinks that I I want to keep staying in the house in the next couple of hours. And the next person, let's say the similar situation is going through with that person, and that person thinks that no, I want to go out. I want to go for a walk and come back after maybe some time. The both persons went through a similar problem, bad experience. What do you think? That bad experience caused them some kind of frustration, sadness, maybe anger too. Who could overcome anger? Who could calm down uh, their anger faster? Is it the person who is staying inside the house? Is it the person who goes for a walk and come back just to see the nature and maybe the people outside? I think it's very important for us to um, go for a walk, not just for the fitness, because that will help us to universalize experiences. Normally, when something happens to us, uh, what we are doing is that we are trying to say that all these bad experiences are only happening to me, not to other people. I think that kind of walking activity can help someone to understand the larger, broader version of human experience, right? So the Buddha said that it's very important to walk. Not even that. All these postures are helping us to understand something much more than how we feel, how we respond. And this one, standing still in a moving world, standing mindfully is the posture of quiet strength. You can see there are a lot of things we can learn here. Standing still in a moving world. Can we think about another sutta for that? You know, in Buddhism, Buddha talks about eight worldly conditions, right? The Buddha says that there are eight things that are going around our life in rotation. What are they? Labo, alabo, ayaso, yasu, ninda, pasansa, sukha, dukkha. Labo means time to time we are having profits, dividends, or maybe we can make more money, whatever, in your own way. And then time to time you lose money, you get demoted, you are not happy about your wealth, your career, and all that, right? You are lost in your life. And then labo alabo. Also, time to time you might not be praised that much. And then sometimes, time to time, you will be praised by other people. Ninda pasansa, time to time you will be blamed by, criticized by other people. Time to time you will be complimented by other people. Time to time you will be happy. Time to time you will be not happy, unhappy. Then the Buddha said, these are happening to us in rotation in our life. These are called Loka Dhamma, right? And not even that, the Buddha said, these eight are happening to each of us in rotation, and we are also rotating around eight of them. May I know how do we rotate around those eight? Now we understand those eight come to us time to time, right? But what does the Buddha mean by that we are rotating around those eight? What is happening to understand that point? We are rotating around these eight conditions mean that every time when we are affected by these eight, we try to react or respond to these eight, right? Isn't it? Let's say you are doing well in your life. Suddenly you feel very happy about your life, and then you feel very much self-centered at that point. And perhaps you are to be criticized by someone, then you are feeling very down about it. How did that person do it to me? I have been a very good person to that person, right? And then time to time you are happy. And every time when you are happy, you react or respond to that situation in your actions, thoughts, and speeches. And whenever you are not happy, you are also exhibiting, displaying your reactions, responses to those things. That's why the Buddha said, when those eight things are happening in rotation, we are also going around those eight. That means we are reacting, responding. So now, in a world where where we are affected by eight lokadhamma, and then while we are reacting or responding to these eight, how to be able to be mindful about our postures? That's a question. How to answer this question? To answer this question, we have to learn Iriyapathapabba here, just like we discussed. The Buddha said, regardless of what you are going through in your life at the moment, or in the past, or in the future, try to see those tiny little postures that you are engaging in your life with regard to their micro movements too. You will be able to be happier. Then you can also think about, you will be also able to respond to them with upekha, equanimity, because you are not dragged by those eight. Although they are affecting you, but your responses will be coming from upekka, because you are focused on every moment with regard to the postures, right? This is what the fourth thing means by standing still in a moving world. And sitting, lying down, mindfulness, right mindfulness. However, the body is disposed, that clearly opens mindfulness beyond the four postures, right? And finally, there is body freedom from ownership, because even the postures need to be understood from Panchakanda experience, because until to a certain moment of our life, we always think, I walk, I stand, I sit, I lie down. But today, not I lie down, not I sit, not I stand. It is because of Kaya Vinyati with the support of Vayodhatu, Panchakanda is moving here and there. That is what is happening. So for this experience, why to create an idea that it is I go, I stand, I lie down, I walk. This is the higher understanding about the posture, Iriyapatha Satipatthana at the end. Then I want to highlight once again about the metta idea with regard to postures. Now I said that according to the Satipatthana Sutta's Iriyapathapabba, the Buddha asks us to be fully present about the postures. How to be fully present? It is by understanding. It is not I, me, myself moving the body. It is kaya vinyati with the support of being element that is doing that motion, those movements. At the same time, on another note, the Buddha in another sutta, Metta Sutta, suggests that one very important thing you can do to be aware about your postures is that bring metta to your posture. That will make you very much engaging with regard to the postures, rather you watching the bare posture. Okay, I sit, I stand, I walk, and all that. So I think those two ways are important, not only one way, because the Buddha has clearly mentioned that Metta can be the best thing to bring into the postures other than being fully present about the posture. All right, if there are no questions at this point, then we are good to go to the transference of merits and then sharing good karmas. And let me tell you that next week we are picking up Sampajanya. Okay? Now, Sampajanya Pappa has every tiny activity going beyond the postures. So we will look at them. Another thing I want to tell you is that now, because we are covering one Satipatthana exercise every day, when we go for another like 3, 4, 5 days, there are a lot of Satipatthanas we will be doing. So it's better to focus on each Satipatthana during the time that we are studying. Otherwise, you might not be able to catch up well with regard to the practice Satipatthana. That is a suggestion. All right, so now we are going to transfer the good karmas at this point. May all the good karmas we've been making today by learning about Iriyapathapabba, which means we can use all the postures, sitting, standing, walking, and lying down postures, and also micro movements, transitional movements into right mindfulness. May all these good karmas be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me nyati nang huntu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idam me nyati nang huntu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idam me nyati nang huntu sukita huntu nyatayo. May Deva, Naga, Mahidika receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of us for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety, and happiness. May Deva, Naga, Mahidika also finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mang parang chirang rakkhantu tvam sadati. Next is our Dhamma wish. Our Dhamma wish is always to be surrounded with Kalyana Mitra, just like all of us. We are gathering here every Monday, not only to learn, but also to engage with everybody in this Dhamma experience, Sutta experience for this all the way for 100 days. So may this Kalyana Mitra accomplishment survive and continue beyond this life. At the same time, may we be able to make more Kalyana Mitra friendships and may we become Kalyana Mitras to as many sentient beings as we meet in this samsaric life till we attain Nibbana. With this noble intent, let us make this. Imina punya kamina mame bala samagamu satang samagamu pu yavanibbana patya. Finally, may all the good karmas which we'll be making today by learning Iriyapathapabba, right mindfulness practice on postures, micro movements, and transitional movements in our life. May all these good karmas be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu. San. Abhivadana silisse nichang vardha prachaino chattaro dhamma vardhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti nivacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samicchato sadhu sadhu sadhu.